super excited that you're here joining us. We're going to listen back to some fun recordings from the past in Caroga Lake Music Festival, including one called Dragon Tales that is written by Josh and played by Alkali, which Andy is also a member of in addition to Josh. And they came to Caroga Lake Music Festival in 2018 as a group and really took every concert by storm, and it was really fun to have them there and to experience these really fantastic arrangements and also originals that they were performing. So Josh and Andy, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the origins of Alkali and kind of your involvement with the project.
Sure thing. So yeah, Alkali began many years ago. Some folks were on a tour with the chamber orchestra, and they were like, "Wouldn't it be cool if you kind of do this chamber, orchestral experience, and maybe mix it up a little bit, maybe like write some music, maybe have some pop stuff, and do some stuff with kids, and these kinds of things." And long story short, that I became Alkali through the iterations, and we played up at Caroga, I guess 2 summers ago, maybe 2 summers ago.
Yep.
And super fun. And
that's awesome. And Andy, how did you get involved with Alkali?
So I joined a little bit later in Alkali. I think kind of back. I mean, it was a long time ago now, but I think I was finishing my undergrad at Rice, and then another member of Alkali, our friend Drew, who plays viola, we had a trip to Curacao, and he asked if they needed some more violinists, so that I got brought on board, and that's how I started then. And now it's down to, I think, the 5 of us. The group's a little bit smaller than it used to be, but it's still a lot of fun. I think it's interesting that this group too, kind of similar to Casa, we all live in different parts of the country. So I'm out in Seattle. Josh and Drew and Scott are in New York, and Nick is in Phoenix. So we make it work when we can, and very similar to Casa, So both the chamber groups I'm in spread out over the country.
For sure.
Not intentional though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not because we're trying to avoid each other. It's just
exactly
we have our places to be. And so I was going to ask Josh, this first selection we're going to listen to, Dragon Tales, which I should give a shout out to my uncle Marc Wienert, who did the recording, and I think people will really enjoy it, from Hawthorne Valley when you guys performed there. But if you want to give us a little backstory about this piece, and then we'll listen to it.
So essentially, like, we set out to write stuff. Just kind of want to get a little bit of a showpiece for the ensemble, so everyone gets a little little shine, and I like kind of funk elements, and also there's some classical stuff in there. There's a little fugato in there, and it's just a fun piece that we kind of groove on and have a good time listening to, hopefully.
What was the reasoning for the name Dragon Tales, or what was your thought behind that?
I think it was a while ago, but I think it was around one of the seasons of time when Game of Thrones was coming out, so I was just having dragons on the mind, I think. I can't remember.
Slaying dragons. That's great. I still need to watch that show. I haven't seen it yet. But so this is Game of Thrones inspired, right? So this is a future season. They'll use this track, right? This is like always thinking ahead. That's good.
That's right. Even though Game of Thrones is over, but future season they might pick it up.
The remake, right? The remake. Yeah.
They got a little offshoots coming.
Some of the Star Wars series. It's just Disney Plus is going to start showing a different version of Game of Thrones, right?
Oh yeah.
Game of Thrones Lego.
They can still make money off it.
So if you're out there, take a listen. So Andy will be our not our MC, but our DJ. Yeah. And so let's take a listen to Dragon Tales. awesome. Every time I hear that. So if you don't mind me asking, because I love how that piece covers such a wide range. Like there's so many nice like corners that we get to experience as a listener on that kind of journey. And compositionally as a group, is it something where Josh, like you write the piece and then like some people give their input on like, oh, maybe we do this or that, or is it pretty much like, what's the composition process as a group that you guys go through to kind of like figure out these arrangements or these pieces?
You're still muted, Josh.
All right, so that one I think I brought in as like a score or whatever, like written out. And then, like as a group, even listening, I kind of forgot some of the stuff, but like, kind of revise and make it, better. It's always you hear the right heads together. Super nice with a group of people who all want the improv to be like super good, to be constructive and like help build it. Like there's some like dynamic things. So I was like, oh yeah. So I was like, any idea to like do that like there, super cool. Maybe added section or subtracted, and little like phrasing things that like might even seem like small in the moment, but like have a huge, they take the piece to all the levels when everyone's together. It's about it.
Definitely. I don't know, Andy. Do you have any reactions to that too?
I remember specifically for that performance. I mean, Dragon Tale's pretty fresh versus one of the newer pieces that we learned. So we haven't, played it a bunch, but I remember for that performance, I would think it was like 10 minutes before that performance, Nick was like, the section's boring. We should add a bossa nova. And we were like, it didn't warm up for anything, but we just spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to do the bossa nova. And we just did it on the fly. But I think that's just what makes that group so fun, is because we just try things out, and every, performance of the same piece is very, very different. And a lot of the times, I mean, usually I would say I don't do a lot of the compositions, but people bring in kind of finished compositions and they're great as they are, but we always kind of add our own little touch. And, Nick really, I think, has to improvise a lot because, similar to Aaron, Josh's composition style sometimes just like do something weird here
in the bass,
and then in the bass, or like Josh won't like write out his part because he's too lazy to write it out, and then he'll just kind of fill it in. So I really enjoy that kind of creative freedom about playing in Alkali.
Well, with someone like Nick, who also plays in Simply 3, for those who don't know, you really allow him to give him license to kind of do some things that he hears. And obviously in that recording, you can really hear these amazing bass moments, whether it's a bossa nova groove or just those low sounds that really bring out the complexity of having a quintet, rather than a standard quartet. Really taking advantage of that difference is huge. You also had Drew playing like way up in the upper register, I noticed, for the viola, which they're not always accustomed to. But I don't know if that was intentional or I'm sure it wasn't. But so in any case, the other thing I wanted to listen with you guys, a couple other items, was a flashback to 2015. Even though Josh wasn't there, Andy was with us when we got to play Schoenberg Verklartenacht as a conductorless orchestra of string players, and it was really fun. It was a huge challenge, and we did essentially the sextet version, but kind of with multiple players on each part rather than the chamber orchestra version. And so I have distinct memories of that because the year before we tried it, and it kind of Andy, you weren't there that week. Maybe you were the changing force, but we kind of it was rough. We had a rough go around in that read through, and so I remember many of us who came back the following year said, we're going to make this happen. We're going to play this piece, and with showing up on Monday and having rehearsals Tuesday to Thursday essentially, and then performing it 3 days on Verklartenacht is always an adventure. But I wanted to kind of show people an excerpt of it. But I don't know, Andy, if you have any quick memories from that experience playing for Klartenacht with everyone 2015?
I just remember the year before, like the first go around, I left that final week. And then I just remember hearing all the stories about how much of a disaster it was and it's just never going to work. And then
we didn't perform it, luckily. Just, yeah. Right.
And then lo and behold, next season starts and next year come back and Kyle's like, we're doing it again. We're, that's just the type of guy Kyle is. So I didn't have high hopes going in, but I just remember just feeling so amazed that we were able to put it together. And I actually haven't heard this recording, so I'm really excited to hear this.
And I definitely remember our rehearsals involved everyone counting the beats aloud while we're playing, which was a really helpful exercise. And that was just how we made it through. And I talked to Aaron recently about this, and he, many of us were still in school at that point, and he was like, "Oh, I just remember like Keir and Ali just like carrying." Like, because they had played before. So it was nice to lean on people who had played it before. I remember Jamil also had played it before. So anyway, yeah, let's take a listen. This is like quick 5-minute extra. Josh, have you played for Klartenacht before?
I've never performed it. No.
Okay, but you've read it.
Mm-hmm.
For Klartenacht, sight reading parties, that's a whole nother thing. But in any case, all right, let's have a DJ Andy play this one. Yeah, so that's always a fun memory. For those who don't know, that was at Metabee Farm, also in the Hawthorne Valley area. And you could hear actually, it was definitely on a farm. You could hear it almost sounded like it was outside. It was like in this really cool venue on the second level of this farm building. But right outside was this whole, like, all these creatures. And you heard like a little goat there, I think, at one point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Andy, if you have any flashbacks just from listening to that now. It's pretty crazy listening like years later. These kind of
Yeah, it definitely brings me back. I just remember so vividly. It's like the people that were playing, and I just know, after all that turmoil, that really, the major section, I just can't get over. I just remember Dan Lim, and just, that's him breathing, and I just see him playing it so vividly in my imagination. He was one of those, I think, people that had played it before that really helped us carry us through that performance. But it's great to hear.
Yeah, Dan is a character. For those who don't know, Dan has a YouTube video online of him after a performance of Souvenir de Florence jumping off the barge in celebration, and he gets the crowd really amped. So Dan's quite a character, and we definitely hear him leading the cellos in that section. And that was Ali, and also Ali Goodman, and who else was Kier Gogwell? Yeah, were the kind of lead section members for that, and I think Eleanor on second violin, Eleanor Barge. So as a fun little ending to this journey, and thanks again, Josh and Andy, for joining me. I figured we'd listen maybe to this Beethoven from the same concert, and good. I just paused there in case But so we can take a listen. This is 59-3 with everyone. This is right after the Verklartenacht.
Sorry.
Andy Andy was feeling very, I guess, happy that this is the end of the Caroga Lake Music Festival season. This is our last concert. And so we took a pretty outrageous tempo, which was really fun, though. It was a very celebratory moment. And so, yeah, I hope people enjoy the Beethoven. And Josh, if people want to check out more of your music, where can they go to listen to more of your stuff?
I got a website, Josh Henderson Music.
Excellent.
What about your trio, Josh?
Yeah, trio.com. All that's, you can hit me up on the gram.
Very good.
I'm easy to find. Yeah, don't get me mixed up with the actor on Desperate Housewives. That's not it. But in Dallas, we look very different, so it shouldn't be changed.
That's amazing. Yeah, Warp Trio, the group Josh plays with, goes all over the place. You guys play like an insane schedule. It seems like all the time. Just
hanging out right now.
And Josh also has been putting together some hilarious videos during the COVID times of some really interesting works involving his, I guess, some dancing, some music playing, some conducting. I really like the conducting. And so, yeah, just check out his Instagram and websites if you want to learn more about Josh. And Andy is, I know, a familiar guest, a recurring guest on our many episodes of different things going on. So you can check out Andy and the Seattle Symphony and all these up to. So let's take a listen to Beethoven. Good memories from Caroga Lake Music Festival. Yeah. Do you guys, any reactions to that? Because that's the first time I have heard that once before. But have you guys, Andy, that was your first time listening back to that, right?
Yeah, that was. Man, that was fast. I don't know if I would be able to play it that fast anymore. We were much younger back in the day.
Back when we were young. Yeah, no, it's been so fun, to have Josh and Andy be part of Caroga Lake Music Festival multiple times now over the past year. Josh coming to Winterfest this past winter as well, sticking through the snow with us. Good times. And so, I'm just so grateful you guys joined me. And yeah, let's be in touch. And again, people are interested in learning more and can probably look up Josh Henderson, Andy Liang on Facebook, Instagram. Actually, Andy, do you have Instagram? Okay, yes, he does. And
not as big as Warp Trio though.
Okay, Warp Trio. Yeah, shout out to Josh on that. But yeah, let's be in touch soon. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you guys later. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.